Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas Eve to everyone out there. The Brise is back. Guys, time of the Brise. We got another episode today. One day away from Christmas, so I hope you guys enjoy the holiday, spending time with your family, eating some good food. And, we got a couple games on tomorrow from the NFL, so check that one out. But as you can see, I'm wearing my Clark Griswold jersey, or t-shirt rather, not jersey. But yeah, Merry Christmas Eve to everyone out there. I hope you're going to have a good day, spending time with your family and friends. So we got that going on. So happy holidays, everyone. We got to talk about this Lions game. I mean, they got right back into the win column after that tough defeat last week against the Buffalo Bills. Very good team. It was kind of expected. We needed that loss to get back into reality a little bit. Up to that point, we won 11 straight games, 12-1. We were riding high, as they say. We were doing very well. But now, getting back into the win column, winning in Chicago. Historically, a very tough place for the Detroit Lions to win games there, but we won 34-17 against those Chicago Bears. They're obviously out of the playoffs, so they were playing for bragging rights. But we got to talk about this game a little bit. So 2021, I'm going to go back a few years. So as a result of this game, it got our 13th win of the season, which is the single-season franchise record, which is insane. The Lions have been around for 90 years, right? 1934. So they've been around for 90 years, almost a century, and they've won 13 games, and that's the most in franchise history. You got to be kidding me, dude. That's insane. 90 years of football, and they won 13 games, and that's the most wins in franchise history. Unbelievable. And then you have to rewind a little bit back to 2021 when Dan Campbell came his first year as a head coach. They lost 13 games in his first season. And now his fourth season as a head coach, they set the single season franchise record for wins with their 13th win this past Sunday against the Chicago Bears. So obviously Dan the man, Dan Gamble, whatever you want to call him, he's our guy. He's going to be here for a really long time, I really hope. I mean, he's definitely changed the culture. I like what he's doing. So that was a great victory for the Detroit Lions. And then as a result, too, they scored 475 points, which set a single franchise record in points scored in the season for the Detroit Lions. And that's all Ben Johnson. That guy's an offensive genius. I honestly believe he was auditioning for the Chicago Bears head coaching job because he might get those opportunities once the season ends. I mean, I would hate for him to leave. I'm sure everyone out there would hate for him to leave Detroit because he's done a phenomenal job being our offensive coordinator, being very creative, using offensive linemen to score touchdowns, which is insane. You rarely see that nowadays. But I strongly believe he was auditioning for the head coaching job for Chicago. So you have that going on. Then you got Sam Laporta, who had a decent game. He has the second most receptions for an NFL tight end through 2 career seasons. He has 133 catches and counting. You got a couple games left in the NFL regular season. So he passed with Rob Gronkowski, who arguably is the greatest tight end of all time. I mean, that's a debate for another day, but he is one of the greatest in my opinion. Rob Gronkowski. If he stayed healthy, he had a lot of injuries in his career, but if he stayed healthy, he probably could have been the greatest. But even with all those injuries, he is one of the greatest of all time, Rob Gronkowski, or Gronk, as he's most famously known. He had only 132 catches in his first 2 career seasons. Sam Laporta has passed him. So Sam Laporta, he's fun to watch, man. I love watching that guy. So you have that going on. And then going into this game, a lot of stuff was going on for that number 1 seed. So the Lions, the Eagles, and the Vikings were tied at the top of the NFC with 12-2 records all around. And that's according to Detroit Free Press. And the Lions, they had a 1-game lead over the Eagles, and they also own the tiebreaker since the Lions have a better record against NFC opponents. So that's good for us. Eagles, I mean, they lost last second against the Washington Commanders. Thank you, Washington, by the way. We do appreciate that here in Michigan, in the Motor City. That was awesome to see. And their winning streak at 10 games. But yeah, they looked really good, those past few weeks, Eagles. So for the Commanders to help us out there a little bit, we appreciate that. So on that note, we're good. We're good, right? But now we're going to need some help if we want that number 1 seed for the playoffs. we get a bye week and then we only have to play possibly two playoff games, one less playoff game than anyone else for the NFC. So for the number one seed, for the Detroit Lions to get it, we have to beat San Fran, and then regardless of the Eagles' outcome, whether they win or lose in Week 17, we have to beat San Fran. But then here's where the help comes in, right? So the Vikings have to lose at home versus Green Bay, who just won last night. They blew out the Saints. I get it. The Saints are god-awful. They're garbage. 34-0 last night on Monday Night Football. But, I mean, they're playing good. Despite that, Green Bay's dangerous, too. You got to watch out for those guys. So the Vikings have to lose at home versus Green Bay, and we got to beat San Fran, and we'll secure the number one seed after Week 17, right? Or here's another situation for the number one seed, right? Too many situations. You got to love it, right? So you got the Vikings and the Lions. They both win their Week 17 matchups. The Vikings beat the Green Bay Packers. The Lions beat the San Francisco 49ers on the road next Monday night on Monday Night Football. Then there will be a winner-take-all match or football game, both for the NFC North champion and for the number one seed in their Week 18 matchup between the Lions and the Vikings. So that's going to be really interesting if that situation happens, right? Not only are you competing for the NFC North championship title, but now you're competing for the number one seed in the playoffs for the NFC. So lots of scenarios there. For the number one seed for the NFC North title. Lions, Vikings, going to come down to those guys. It's going to be entertaining these next couple weeks. The Lions got the San Francisco 49ers next Monday on Monday Night Football. They need to win that one without question. That's another must-win for the Detroit Lions. They will win. That'll be my pick as I make my Week 17 picks here in a couple minutes. But the Detroit Lions definitely need that win that game against the San Francisco 49ers. And hopefully the Packers, this is probably the only time I cheer for the Green Bay Packers. Hopefully they can beat the Minnesota Vikings on the road Week 17. So you have that going on as well. So yeah, Week 16, that was the Lions and Bears game. Lots going on. It was awesome. It was very entertaining. Another great week of NFL football. Week 16, it started with the Chargers beating the Broncos 34-27 in a very exciting game there. Very entertaining. Justin Herbert threw for 2 touchdowns, 284 yards, 23 of 31. So he only had 8 incompletions. He looked good. Gus Edwards had a couple touchdowns. Ladd McConkey looking like the number one guy there. 6 receptions, 87 yards. And this is kind of shocking. It's a division matchup, and Broncos look pretty good in that game. Sorry, they looked really good in that game, but then the Chargers just found a way to come back and win, and it was exciting. It was a great way to start off Week 16. So you had that going on. The Chiefs once again beat the Texans. Patrick Mahomes played in this game. He had that ankle injury last week. We didn't know if he was going to play or not. He did. He threw for a touchdown, and they're closing in on the number one seed in the AFC. You got a 14-1 record. They're 8-0, undefeated at home. They just find ways to win. I mean, I said it before numerous weeks here on Guys Time at the Prize. Oh, they're overrated. Oh, they're not that good. Dude, they're finding ways to win. And that's the most important thing in the NFL. If you can win football games, you're doing something right. So, Chiefs winning against the Texans. This was a Saturday game. You had 2 Saturday games on last weekend. And then the other Saturday game, the Ravens dominating the Steelers. Steelers did not look good at all. I mean, that defense, they're known for having a top 5 defense always, historically. Ever since I was a little kid, they were known to have a good defense. But no, defense did not play a factor in this game for the Steelers. The Ravens win at home, 34-17. Lamar Jackson looked good. Derrick Henry had 24 carries for 162 yards. But yeah, this game, it was all Ravens here. So 2 games on Saturday. You had that, and then the rest of the Sunday games happened. You had the Falcons beating the Giants 34-7. Obviously, the Giants are horrible, so you knew that was going to happen. The Lions, as I mentioned, they beat the Bears on the road 34-17. The Lions are 7-0 on the road this year. They're undefeated on the road this year. And Jared Goff had 3 touchdowns, 336 yards passing, 23 for 32. He looked great. Jahmyr Gibbs, He was the number one running back because you got David Montgomery out, who might come back for the playoffs. I heard that in the last week. So that's very exciting to watch after recent reports that he was going to be done for the season. So now he might come back for the playoffs. I don't know how I feel about that. He's getting a little older. Running backs and knee injuries, you can't be messing around with that. We'll see what happens. But you know what? Jahmyr Gibbs, he did great. 23 carries, 109 yards, 1 touchdown. His nickname's Sonic for a reason, man. He's fast, he's quick, he makes great things happen. And then Jameson Williams, 5 receptions, 143 yards, 1 touchdown. He's our deep threat. Yeah, he's got to knock it off a little bit. He's got to quit being a bonehead and mature a little bit, because those unsportsmanlike conduct penalties are going to cost us down the road, maybe in the playoffs. So he has to get, someone on that team has to discipline him. I'm sorry, but that's how it has to be. We can't afford those penalties. So you had that going on. Bengals beat the Browns, division matchup, 24-6 at home. Joe Burrow, another 3 touchdown performance. It seems like every single week this guy is throwing for 3 touchdowns. This time he actually won, because it seemed, a handful of games this year, he throws 300 plus yards and 3 touchdowns and he loses the game. Like, imagine that if you're the quarterback of a NFL team. You're performing, you're doing your job, get paid millions of dollars to score touchdowns, and you're trying to win and you still lose with all those stats, 300 plus yards, 3 plus touchdowns, and you still lose the damn game. But this time he won against the horrible, god-awful Browns, 24-6. So you had that going on. The Colts winning in an exciting one, another division matchup here, AFC South. Colts win at home, 38-30. Jonathan Taylor had 3 touchdowns, 218 yards on 29 carries. So, last week he decides to drop the ball before the goal line like a bonehead. And like I said, I still can't believe that exists in 2024. Guys dropping the ball before they before they cross the plane with a touchdown, with the football rather. But he made up for it. 3 touchdowns, 200 plus yards. Hey, you know what? Everyone has a bad week, right? So he made up for it. So good, solid game for Jonathan Taylor there. And then the Rams beat the Jets 19-9, 9-19. That's my birthday, by the way. I just want to point that out there. But the Rams definitely could win the NFC West. Because like I said, the 49ers, I don't know, they're hurt, and Seattle just lost to the Vikings, and then the Cardinals lost in overtime against the Panthers, man. Oh, God awful. So the Rams have a chance to win their division. So you had that going on. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the Commanders, thank you for helping us out there. Last second touchdown, 36-33 against against the Eagles rather. Another division matchup. The Commanders winning at home, 6-2. Stopping the Eagles on their reign of terror. It seemed like the most dangerous team in the NFL up to that point. Jay Daniels, 5 touchdowns from the rookie. Could be the rookie of the year. 258 yards, 24 for 39. Saquon Barkley, 29 carries, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. A.J. Brown was busy in this game too. 8 receptions, 97 yards, 1 touchdown. So very exciting game between 2 division teams. But the Commanders winning at home last second. Jay Daniels, man, that guy's unreal. So you had that going on. The Panthers winning in overtime against the Cardinals, 36-30. Like, how do you lose to the Panthers, man? These guys are 4-11. They're horrible. They're god-awful. The Cardinals shot themselves in the foot. You had an opportunity to compete in the NFC West with the Rams, and now you're officially eliminated from the playoffs. So Panthers win in the shocker there. Vikings going to Seattle and winning 27-24. Yeah, thank you, Seattle. You can't help us out a little bit? I mean, come on, man. Help Detroit out, please. Unfortunately, you guys couldn't do it. Vikings looking very good now. Another dangerous team. Justin Jefferson, 10 receptions, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns. A lot of people say, oh, Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver. Oh, A.J. Brown's up there. Dude, I think Justin Jefferson takes that top spot, in my opinion. All great wide receivers, don't get me wrong, but Justin Jefferson, he's the real deal, and he proved it. So, with those stats. So you had that. The Bills win a nail-biter against the Patriots, the 3-12 Patriots. Yeah, imagine that. When I was a kid, the Patriots were the best damn team in the NFL every single year. But times have changed. No more Belichick, no more Tom Brady. And you see it now. 3-12 Patriots crazy. After 20 years of dominance in the AFC East, they're kind of laughing stock now, and the Bills are rising up as the team to beat in that division, and they won 24-21. They're undefeated at home. The Bills are 7-0. Very exciting game here. Another division matchup. Josh Allen doing what Josh Allen does, man. So you had that. The Raiders beating the Jaguars, two god-awful teams, both 3-12. Raiders win 19-14 at home. You had that. The Dolphins win against the 49ers, 29-17. So, Brock Purdy had a couple touchdowns, but it wasn't enough. Dolphins win at home against a banged-up 49ers team. So you had that. And then Sunday Night Football, you had the Cowboys beating the Buccaneers 26-24. Exciting game. Baker Mayfield, couple touchdowns, but losing to the Cowboys, that sucks. And they're out of the playoffs. The Cowboys are. I think there's a way the Buccaneers can still win. I think they're still in the hunt officially, but Cowboys are definitely out. So they were playing for bragging rights. Good for them, whatever. And then, obviously, Monday Night Football last night, Packers dominating, absolutely destroying and embarrassing the Saints, 34-0 at home. They're on a reign of terror, too, so watch out for Green Bay. So that was Week 16. So we have that going on. So now we got to hop over to Week 17. The Bryce has to make his picks for the holiday. So, yeah, we got a couple games on tomorrow for Christmas. So Merry Christmas. Watch football. Spend time with your family and friends. So 2 games on Netflix. So this is going to be very interesting because, as all of you know, if you watch the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight, a lot of streaming issues, a lot of buffering. So I'm wondering how they're going to combat this, Netflix is, and the NFL. Like, there's going to be a lot of streaming issues, I do believe, for these 2 games. Because millions of people are going to watch it, right? Millions of people watch the NFL every single week. So how you think it's going to work with Netflix, who's known to have streaming issues, right? So very interesting. I don't know. I'll probably peek at the games. I'll watch a little bit because you know me. So Chiefs and Steelers, 1 o'clock tomorrow on Christmas. And, these teams playing on Christmas, like, okay, I love football, but, dude, Christmas is a time to be with your family, right? We don't need football on Christmas, in my opinion. We don't. We don't need it. Just, we can live one day without NFL games. Wait till the weekend. Wait till Saturday, Sunday, when it's not a holiday. These guys traveling and being away from their families, that's not right. I think that's BS, but, NFL's got to make their money, right? So, first game, 1 p.m., Chiefs and Steelers. I got to go with the Chiefs. Now, they find ways to win. They're playing on the road, it don't matter. It's the Chiefs. They'll win that one. So I got the Chiefs winning that. And then the second game, 4:30, again on Netflix. A lot of streaming issues. It's going to be funny. I can't wait for the comments from people saying, oh, this is garbage. Too many streaming issues. I can't watch the game. You'll see it. But the second game, 4:30 tomorrow on Christmas, Ravens and Texans. I got the Ravens in this one on the road. They're going to win. Lamar Jackson playing some very good football. Derrick Henry, he looked great last week against the Steelers. I think they continue that running game dominance from that beast of a man. Ravens take that one. And then Thursday night football. So, day after Christmas, we got to get more football on here, right? So, Seahawks and Bears, Prime Video. God, this is a horrible game to watch on Thursday night. I got to go with the Seahawks because the Bears are not good. Seahawks bounce back from their loss at home against the Vikings. They win that one. And then 3 Saturday games, rather. So we got a bunch of Saturday games going on. So we got the Chargers at the Patriots. I got the Chargers winning that one because the Patriots, I don't know what they're doing. They're 3-12. They're done. They'll get a first-round pick. Get out of here. Chargers are winning this one. Broncos and Bengals. I will take the Bengals in this one. I like what Joe Burrow's doing. They might be 7-8, but you know what? That guy can play some good football. And I think that Denver Broncos defense, I don't know. I think they got a little exposed this past Thursday night against the Chargers. So the Bengals win this one at home. Cardinals and Rams, division matchup from the NFC West. I got the Rams at home. They're playing really good football. They're looking really dangerous for a wild card spot in the playoffs. Cardinals are out officially from the playoffs, so they're playing for pride at this point. I got the Rams winning this one at home. So those are the Saturday games, 3 of them. Check those out. And then Sunday, you got the rest of the games, right? You got the Jets and the Bills. Two New York teams. I got to go with the Bills in this one. Jets are just horrible. I mean, like I said numerous times on this podcast, get Aaron Rodgers out of here. He needs to go. Bills are winning at home. They're undefeated. They continue that undefeated streak at home Sunday after Sunday. Saints and Raiders. So Saints just got blown out pretty bad on Monday Night Football against the Packers. The Raiders just won. Saints, I don't know. I don't trust Spencer Rattler as quarterback. A lot of problems with that team. A lot of injuries. Their whole offense is basically out. Derek Carr's out. Alvin Kamara's out. You got a couple of wide receivers out. I got the Raiders in this one on the road. Colts and Giants. Giants are 0-8 at home. Are they going to win their first home game of the season? The Giants? No. The Colts are going to have a field day with this team. Jonathan Taylor, another big game in my opinion. He's going to run all over that Giants defense. Giants don't win a home game this year. Colts win against the Giants. I got the Colts in that one. Cowboys and Eagles, division matchup. Eagles, I don't know, did they bounce back from that last second loss to the Washington Commanders, or do the Cowboys try to ruin their season? I think the Eagles will bounce back at home against those dreaded Cowboys. I got the Eagles winning that one. Panthers, Buccaneers, another division matchup here, NFC South. I like the Buccaneers in this one, but I think it's going to be a little closer than what people think. Usually is between these two teams. And Panthers winning in overtime against the Cardinals last week gives them a lot of confidence. But Buccaneers, they're trying to get that playoff spot. They win in this one against the Panthers. So you have that. Titans and Jaguars, another division matchup here. These two faced a couple weeks ago. They're both 3-12. They're both god-awful. Oh, God. I'll take the Titans in this one. I think last time I picked the Jaguars. This time I'll take the Titans on the road. So you have that. And you got the Dolphins and the Browns. I got the Dolphins in this one because I don't trust the Browns at all. They're 3-12, and their quarterback situation is not good. So Dolphins winning this one. Packers and Vikings. Vikings playing at home. Packers are on a tear. They both are. And like I said, we need the Packers to win, to help us out, to help Detroit out, to get that number one seed. I will pick the Packers, and this is probably the only time I will cheer for the Packers. They win against the Vikings. Should be a very entertaining matchup, division matchup. Lots on the line in terms of the number one seed. Packers beat the Vikings and help Detroit out. Please, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Sorry that we beat you twice this year, but we're on a mission this year. I hate to tell you. So go Pack, go. I got the Packers winning that one against the Vikings. Going to be a very interesting matchup. And then Sunday Night Football, we got the Falcons and the Commanders. I like the Commanders in this one. That confidence after beating the Eagles, the Red Hot Eagles last week, that carries over into Sunday Night Football. I got the Commanders beating the Falcons on Sunday night. And then Monday Night Football to conclude Week 17, the Lions and the 49ers. Lions undefeated on the road this year. A must-win for these guys. The 49ers are banged up. They do not look good at all. I got the Lions on the road winning against the San Francisco 49ers. So those are my Week 17 picks. The Brize's Week 17 picks for the NFL. So you got that. If you're doing fantasy football right now, if you're in your championship, in your championship leagues, good luck. Have fun. Watch some football tomorrow for Christmas. Watch the rest of Week 17. Go Lions. Beat those 49ers and get that number one seed. So that is the pros. We got to hop over to college football. The college football playoffs happened last weekend. And to be honest, man, it was kind of a dud. A lot of those games were blowouts. And, people are saying, oh, maybe Alabama should have been in. I don't know. I mean, you lost to Vanderbilt by, they scored 40 points on you, right? And then you lose to Tennessee, who got annihilated by Ohio State. We'll get into that in a little bit. And then you lose to Oklahoma, who's garbage, on the road, 24-3. And you got 3 losses. Oh, Alabama would have made it more exciting. I don't know. Can't really say that. Keep Alabama out of it. We've seen them in the playoffs or in postseason football for college for many years. Oh, just because Nick Saban's not there anymore. Oh, oh my God. Oh, what? We're just going to forget about Alabama. They lost 3 games. 40. They get, Vanderbilt scored 40 on you guys. and then you lose in a blowout 24-3 against Oklahoma, who's garbage this year. You lost to Tennessee too, a game you should have won. I don't know what to tell you. And the committee said, and I said this last week, teams who compete in conference championship games were not going to be penalized if they lose. They said that. So blame the committee for not having Alabama in there or Miami in there. We got SMU in there who didn't show up. Indiana, despite the score, they only lost by 10. But let's be honest, Notre Dame dominated the entire game. Let's be honest. Call a spade, right? Tennessee, they didn't show up. They got absolutely annihilated by Ohio State. Say what you want, man. This is it. This is the college football playoff. You wanted 12 teams. You wanted more teams. 4 was okay. 12, maybe a little too much. I think 8 would have been the perfect like bar to set, right? But no, 12, because more money, more schools, get them opportunities, whatever. We'll find out in the second round of the college football playoff. But yeah, the first round of the playoffs, the total score for these games, by the way, 138-61. That was the total score out of the 4 games this past weekend. 138-61. That's an ass kicker. I don't care who you are. I mean, that's god-awful football. That's not entertaining. That's horrible. So the first game we'll talk about happened last Friday. Notre Dame, number 7 Notre Dame versus number 10 Indiana. Notre Dame wins this one 27-17. Like I said, despite the score, okay, yeah. Indiana only lost by 10 points against Notre Dame, a very good Notre Dame team. Great. Did you watch the rest of the game? Notre Dame destroyed them, especially when it came to the running game. The running game for Notre Dame, 193-63. That was the difference right there. Indiana couldn't stop the run. And that's one of many reasons why they lost. So you had that. So Notre Dame wins 27-17. Indiana coming to this game. Most wins in program history, 11-1. That's awesome. Curt Cignetti, the head coach there, changing the culture. Great. Awesome. It's good for college football. And then they scored the most points in the Big Ten this past season. 41.3 points per game on average for the Indiana Hoosiers. Yeah, this is football, may I remind you, not basketball. So that was awesome. And they allowed the second fewest points in the Big Ten, 15.6 points per game. But then you had Notre Dame, 39.8 points per game this season for them, 70 touchdowns. So this team scores touchdowns. 12-1 record after last Friday's victory against the Hoosiers. But yeah, the game. Notre Dame, 394 total yards versus 278. And then the rushing game, the running attack, 193 versus 63. You're gonna win that 9 times out of 10. And they proved it, Notre Dame did. They looked really good, too. They looked really good. And then they held the ball 35 minutes. And Indiana only held it for 24 minutes. So, yeah, obviously not a great start to college football playoff. Thought it would be a more competitive game. Yeah, like I said, scoreboard says 27-17. Oh, they only lost by 10. Nah, you got to watch the rest of that game, man. Notre Dame ran that ball down their throats. Indiana, just the inexperience of not being in postseason football ever. It showed. Notre Dame's been in the postseason a handful of times. The experience won. One of many reasons why they won this game. So now, as a result of Notre Dame being Indiana, now they go on to play Georgia. Georgia is 3-0 all time against Notre Dame. So who's going to win that one, Georgia or Notre Dame? I'm going to go with the Fighting Irish. And you people might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to go with the Fighting Irish because now you don't have Carson Beck. He's not playing this game, so you got to go with the second quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, who looked really good in the SEC championship game a couple weeks ago against Texas. But Notre Dame looked good against Indiana. I get it. They only played Indiana. Wait till they play Georgia. Yeah, it's going to be a tough battle for Notre Dame. Don't get me wrong. But Notre Dame looked really good. And I think they're on a mission too. Marcus Freeman's third year as head coach. First time being in the college football playoff. Their first win in the college football playoff era in school history. They're on a mission, man. So 3-0 all time, Georgia over Notre Dame. But anything can happen. But I'm taking Notre Dame over Georgia. So you got that. So now the next game we got to talk about. Penn State versus SMU. Penn State number 6, SMU number 11. Penn State dominated this game, 38-10. Like I said, yeah, this first round was god awful. Penn State lost. Coming into this game, Penn State lost to Oregon in the Big Ten championship game, and then SMU lost versus Clemson in the ACC championship game. So both teams losing their conference championship game. So both teams on a mission to win and get past the first round of the college football playoff. Penn State was that team. So Penn State, in this game, they did not throw a single touchdown pass. Not a single one. A couple pair of pick sixes, some rushing touchdowns, and that was it. Didn't throw a single passing touchdown in this game. They still won 38-10. That's insane. Like, unreal. You don't hear a lot about that in this pass happy era of college football. So yeah, as I mentioned, Penn State, 2 pick sixes, kind of set the tone for the rest of the game for Penn State. SMU, another team that just didn't, the inexperience, not playing in postseason football. It showed. It showed very much. Penn State versus Boise State. So Penn State moves on to go up against the Boise State Broncos in the Fiesta Bowl. Penn State's 7-0 all-time in the Fiesta Bowl, and the Boise State Broncos are 3-0. So a combined 10-0 record for these two teams playing in the Fiesta Bowl. So that's going to be a very exciting one. We got to talk about Ashton Jeanty. This guy, he's been taking college football by storm. Obviously, he's playing at a smaller school. So if you don't really pay attention to college football, you probably don't know who the hell this guy is. But this guy, he best running back in college football, arguably, right? First unanimous All-American in school history, right? 2,497 yards, which is 4th best in FBS. 29 rushing touchdowns, which is more than 118 FBS teams. Guy's a monster. And then he set the single season records for yards after contact, 1,889 yards, and missed tackles forced, 143. So this guy, he might not be the biggest guy or tallest guy, but he's 5'9" and 215 pounds. You better tackle him and wrap up, because if you don't, he's booking it. He's scoring a touchdown. He's getting 20, 30, 40 yards after you try to tackle him or after he gets hit. Guy's a beast, man. That's something that Penn State needs to look out for. But despite all that, who's going to win this one? Boise State or Penn State? I'm picking the Nittany Lions. I'm going to stick with the Big Ten. They will win against Boise State. So you have that. And then the second game, or the third game rather, excuse me. Probably the most exciting game, right? Texas and Clemson. Texas wins 38-24. Very entertaining game. But Texas looked like the most dominant team in this one. Clemson, they were playing catch-up most of the game, and it showed. So, yeah, number 5, Texas moves on. They play Arizona State, who won the Big 12 championship. That's why they were on a bye. So who wins that one? I'm going to go with Texas. Texas looks very strong right now. That game against Clemson this past weekend gave them a lot of confidence going to their next matchup against Arizona State. So I got Texas winning that one. And then the final game, the final college football playoff round 1 game from last weekend. You had Ohio State destroying, absolutely crushing Tennessee 42-17. Tennessee, where were you? You didn't even show up, man. I mean, Ohio State just threw that ball on you like it was nothing. You made Will Howard look like a stud. You really did. In that rushing attack, I mean, you guys couldn't stop the run to save your lives. You couldn't stop the run to save your lives. 42-17, Ohio State, number 8, number 9, Tennessee. Maybe Tennessee didn't deserve to be there. Maybe you put Alabama over them. Maybe. Because they didn't show up, Tennessee. God-awful performance. 42-17. You have to show up, dude. And you didn't. You let Ohio State just run all over you. I mean, Tennessee couldn't do anything on offense at all. They couldn't move that ball down the field. That defense of Ohio State, they were ready. I mean, a lot of fuel for Ohio State after losing to an unranked Michigan for the 4th straight year. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State runs the table. My opinion. But at the same time, they run into Oregon again. Now, Ohio State, if all of you remember, October 12th, a few months ago, Ohio State lost by 1 point on the road in Oregon. They lost 32-31. to the Ducks. So now Ohio State has the opportunity to get their revenge against the number 1 team in the country. Do they accomplish that? No. Oregon wins this one. But it's going to be a lot closer than what people think. It might be a one-score game again between these two teams. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very entertaining. But I got the Oregon Ducks, the number 1 team in the country. Prove me wrong. So I got Oregon beating the Ohio State Buckeyes in the second round of the college football playoff. So you have that going on. Let's see what we got here. So dates. So Tuesday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, the Fiesta Bowl. Combined 10-0 between these two teams in this game. Penn State, number 6, versus number 3, Boise State, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. I got Penn State winning that one, as I mentioned. And then we got 3 games on New Year's Day, January 1st. Great way to start off the new year, 2025. The Peach Bowl, you have number 5, Texas, versus number 4, Arizona State. 1 o'clock, ESPN. I got Texas winning that one. The Rose Bowl, the iconic Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Number 8, Ohio State versus number 1, Oregon. Their first year in the Big Ten. They're the Big Ten champions. 5 p.m. on ESPN. I got Oregon winning that one. And then you got the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. You got number 7, Notre Dame versus number 2, Georgia. 8:45 p.m. on ESPN. I got Notre Dame winning this one. A lot of eyebrows are being raised right now. What? A lot of scratching heads right now. But it's college football, man. Anything can happen. So I got the Fighting Irish winning that one. And then you got the Orange Bowl in the semifinals, Thursday, January 9th. That's a couple weeks away. We got to wait till what happens next week. But that's your college football playoff schedule there. And then on top of that, you got Michigan playing Alabama in bowl game New Year's Eve, noon on ABC, or ESPN rather. So check that one out. Go Blue. Beat the Alabama Crimson Tide. So yeah, that's college football. Not a great first round. A lot of blowouts. You know, people are like, SMU didn't belong there. Tennessee didn't belong there. You know, in the end, it had no business being there. Forget about it, dude. It is what it is. Let it die, man. It's over, done with. Hopefully, the second round of the playoffs are much more entertaining and much more exciting. So pray to the Lord Jesus Christ that happens. So we have that. That's college football. We have to end this episode today with boxing. Yeah, boxing, right? Oh my God. He's been talking about boxing for weeks now. You damn right I am. I'm getting involved with boxing. You know, you guys know I'm a UFC fanatic. I'll watch UFC, mixed martial arts, any day of the week. But, you know, my boy, shout out to him. Merry Christmas to him and his family, Kamel Macklin. Watching him fight and box in that ring, dude, it's awesome. It inspired me to watch more boxing fights, to educate myself, to know how this works, the scoring and, you know, what judges are looking for, and just being a fan of it, you know, being a fan of combat sports. So thank Kamel Macklin for my newfound love for boxing. You have to appreciate it. But we had a big title fight, big heavyweight title fight this past Saturday. Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury 2. These guys fought 7 months ago. Usyk won by split decision. Now this time he beats Fury again by unanimous decision, which I thought was kind of crazy. I thought it was another split decision victory, or it could have been a draw, because Tyson Fury in those first few rounds, man, he looked sharp, but he weighed in at 281 pounds, big heavyweight there. And then Alexander Usyk weighed in at 226 pounds, so, you know, like almost a 50 plus pound difference there for heavyweights. And it was for the WBC, WBA, and WBO rather, world heavyweight titles, because the IBF title Usyk had to give up to Daniel Dubois after his victory against Anthony Joshua a couple months ago. So, yeah, all three judges scored this card, 116 and 112 for Usyk, unanimous decision. I thought it was a little closer than that, but, you know, like I said, I have to educate myself more about the game of boxing. But this was a very entertaining fight. I watched this, and for two heavyweights, there was a lot of action. I mean, these guys were throwing punches left and right. They were moving around. You know, they weren't standing there like a ton of bricks. I mean, they were they were landing some shots, both of them. Not just Usyk, but Tyson Fury too. He looked, like I said, he looked really good in the early rounds of that fight, and then Usyk came back. Like I said, that could have been a draw or split decision win for one of those guys. So we'll see if they have a trilogy fight. I would like to see it. I think the fans deserve it. But yeah, another classic fight between these two heavyweights. Usyk is the champion, the world heavyweight champion. Retains the 3 out of the 4 titles. He won the 4 titles. He became the undisputed champion in their matchup 7 months ago. But then, like I said, he had to give up the IBF title, I do believe, to Daniel Dubois. So now he only has the WBC, WBA, and WBO world heavyweight titles. But yeah, this was a very entertaining fight. I liked watching it. Lots of action. Tyson Fury looked good. Alexander Usyk came back and looked absolutely phenomenal. So hopefully we get a third fight between these two, but we'll see what happens with that. So with that being said, we are done. Guys, Time to Prize is over. So thank you for joining me on this special holiday edition of Guys, Time to Prize. It's Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's Christmas Day. So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone out there. Enjoy the rest of your day. Spend time with your family. Watch some football tomorrow. Eat some good food. And be grateful that you have family members around. So this episode is going to be available, as always, my YouTube channel, at Guys, Time to Prize. Subscribe to that channel, please. You got the audio version of this episode is going to be available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast. Check it out. Maybe listen to it before Christmas tomorrow. I don't know. That's my gift to you guys. Me talking about sports and being passionate and loving what I do and appreciating you guys for listening every single week. You guys are awesome. So Merry Christmas. Check out the new episode. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great day tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Spend time with your friends and family. You guys are awesome. Take care. The Prize is out. I might have an episode next week. It'll be the last episode of 2024 as we go into the new year, 2025. So be on the lookout for that as well. And you guys are awesome as always. All right, peace out. The Prize is out. Take care. Merry Christmas, guys.